Hello, welcome to Conrad with a K. My name's Conrad. It's spelled with a K. That's why. If you weren't smart enough to figure that out, it's probably isn't gonna be the show for you. What is this show? This show is gonna be me ranting basically about my opinions on why we need a revolution in Canada. I understand after 2 years of trying to do this as a grassroots thing, most of Canada is not at my level of disdain for this government and how we are being run. So I'm a little ahead of the curve on this one. I get that. I also am consumed by these thoughts of revolution. So in order to get back to being funny on stage for comedy, serious thoughts are going to be put on here. Hopefully there's like a therapy to get the serious out here, funny back on there. That's the goal. That's the game plan. I don't know if it's going to work, but I also feel very alone in my thoughts because, like I said, everyone, even my friends that I pitched this to, they all agree Canada sucks right now and it's bad and it's getting worse and it's not going to get better, but it's also not bad enough to fight yet, which infuriates me. But at the same time, I get it. They have things to live for and I don't. So I can be a little more hasty on the wanting to fight. That being said, it does give me time to convince others when they are ready to fight, why and how. You know, not that all my ideas are good. Probably most of them are pretty shitty, but some of them are good. Definitely a couple of them at least. But at least I can start the conversation, right? And by the way, when I say I want a revolution, it's not anarchy or communism that I want. That's fucking ridiculous. We don't want any of that. Communism never works. It's a horrible solution. That's what's coming into Canada right now. It's basically already here. It's a soft launch and people just aren't cluing in yet, or they are, but they're just not doing anything about it, I guess. And then there's anarchy, which is essentially Africa. And we don't want to live like that. That's not a good time. What my theory is, at least someone smarter than me can figure it out completely. I can just start the question. But we have innovated in society on everything. Look at where we came with cars, fucking phones, computers, planes. Now we're landing rockets on space, on the ocean. We've innovated everything. We've even innovated religion. Scientology was created in my lifetime. We create new things about everything. But government styles, we stopped 200 years ago, I guess, because the Communist Manifesto, 1848. So basically 200 years on that. And then it got finally started getting implemented early 1900s. And before that was the Constitutional Republic, 1790. So it's been hundreds of years since we've tried to develop an entirely new style of government. I think that's a problem. I think we need a new style of government. I think if we wait for the government now and the elites to bring in their new world order that they're telling us about, that it's not going to be good for us. I don't know the last time a government project ever actually worked out for the people. It works out for them and their friends because they pocket all the fucking money, but it doesn't work out for us. Never does. And if maybe I won't say never. I hate when people do that. There's always an outlier or two. All right, people. Because someone will always comment, oh, well, there's this one. Okay, there's a couple here and there, probably. There's not enough for what they're supposed to be fucking doing, all right? So I want to create a whole new system of government. Even the reasons of our government, how they were created, that's not how people live anymore. With technology, we have advanced so much that the laws and the governing ways just don't also line up and make sense with how society is functioning, which I get is why the elites are trying to bring in all this digital IDs and stuff like that. This is what they think because they're coming from a position of control and power. And how do we keep control? How do we keep power over these people? Well, if we enforce digital IDs and mandates and all these digital currencies, it's a lot easier for them than if you speak out against the government to cancel your government benefits if you have any. And it's all digital currency and digital ID. So they just do it from their desk. If it's even that, it'll probably be an AI program. If you say something bad, all of a sudden now you can't eat this week. And also if you get government benefits, I can see it in the future. They're going to give you little digital currency, but then they're going to tell you where you can spend it at. It's only good at this place or only good at this place. And it's going to be whichever friend of theirs is fucking paying them more behind the scenes to get their government funds that week. And we know this because every system is corrupt. It always happens. And they're not going to design a system that's not either not corrupted for them or that they can't easily corrupt after the fact. That's 100%. And I think We need to get ahead of it and use technology against our government instead of having the government use technology against us. Because I also believe that 90% of this country is together. Like, we're not that far off on most issues. The people you see with the blue hair and the protests and doing all the signs and the fucking screaming, I believe it's like maybe 1% of people in this country. Like, it's a very small number that should be in mental institutions. We should never have closed those down. People are wondering, well, why do we have all these crazy people these days? They used to be locked in buildings, and we should bring that shit back. But since we don't have them back, and the government only caters to the loudest people, it just doesn't help who needs the help the most. And it doesn't help who's the majority of the country who should be getting, like, voting in the policies. If you're the majority, you would think you'd be voting in to help yourself and a little bit of the other people. But apparently, this government only listens to the loudest. If you're being loud, they'll give you what you want. Fuck everybody else. So this is going to be a show where I get my point across and try to convince others to get on my side now, because the faster we revolt, the less people die. If you look through any revolution throughout history, when people finally get mad enough to revolt, they do die. And they'd be dying at high rates because you wait so long for it to get to a point where you're actually willing to fight. Where if you would have got ahead of it, did it when you noticing the signs coming in, revolt then, very, very few deaths. Very few. If you give me 50,000 men, 5 days, take this country back. 5 years after that, fucking fixed. Guaranteed. At least it'd be a lot fucking better than what it is. I feel most people in this country look around at what's happening in the government and think, I could run this shit better than they fucking are. Like, they worked, 70 days last year, and they're paying themselves $230,000 a year for 70 days worth of work? Go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. Straight up. But I have a whole list of that, of why we need things. That was just my preamble of what I'm trying to get. I want to innovate a whole new style. We have thousands of years of history to go through. We can see when every single democracy collapsed. We can see how all the communism ones have collapsed. We can go back and see how all the kings, the oligarchs, every style, we can see where it goes wrong throughout history. We have the records. So we can now make a new system with laws countering all of those facts, right? Makes sense to me. If we have the logic, we have it all in paper, we have everything that went wrong. Okay. Every single one did these things, make laws against those things. Then you cherry pick the best aspects of it, because they all do have good aspects. Otherwise, no one would have invented them or brought them in. If there was zero good aspects of it, if there was a king and the very first king, if he was a shitty king, the people would have fucking killed him right away. There would have been no kings ever again after that, because the people would not wanted that position. They would have said, hey, I ain't ruling over these fucking people. Or you'd have a few kings who just murder people if they don't fall under them. We probably still would have had some kings. But you get what I'm saying, maybe. Either way, there had to be some good things about having a king. Communism. The good thing about communism is that it puts the value of workers back into the forefront, which is good. I'm a blue collar worker. All right. I'm a carpenter. My wages have been so diluted down through this government from inflation that I make less. Like, on paper, I make more, but in reality, I make less now than I did when I was 20. I'm almost 40. So 20 years of being an adult, and I make less now. I have all the skills. I've spent 20 years learning all the skills, but because you have to take care of the minimum wage workers, we have to keep giving them raises. We have to keep jacking them up. You strip away the middle class doing that. The minimum wage jobs are not high paying jobs. They are minimum wage jobs. The reason that they were bringing foreigners over is because these people didn't want to pay us enough to do a minimum wage job. So you bring immigrants over for slave labor or as close to it, and they would take those jobs. It wasn't to bring over these other workers who weren't going to take those jobs and then also raise the minimum wage for these workers who aren't citizens to fuck over everyone else. This doesn't make any sense. Well, it does make sense. It does, because they're purposely sewering this country to bring in the New World Order. You can't, if things are going good in a country and then you want to change how things are going, that's not going to work. Even the most stupid people aren't going to vote for that. You have to destroy the country fundamentally first, and then you can bring in the New World Order that they talk about. And people my age, millennials, we've been talking about New World Orders our whole lives. Everyone you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, conspiracy theorists, we're fucking up. All right. We're up on fucking everything. So maybe stop calling us conspiracy theorists and just start calling us realists and listen because we've been winning. We've been right. So yeah, put the responsibility on labor wages and on labor is a good thing in communism. Almost everything else in communism is horrible. Almost everything. In sentiment, it all sounds really good. That's why it catches on from time to time in certain civilizations with the right propaganda machine behind it. It can catch on. I get why it's feeling, oh, everyone's equal. It gets rid of the classes. That's just not how life is. All right. Because like we have 17 million people working in this country. We have a population of 41, like 17 million full-time jobs, and you have some part-time jobs in there to make it like just over half the country works, half the country doesn't work. I have no desire to work overtime anymore. I used to love working overtime. Now that I don't see any point of it because the government just takes it. So now there's no point. When you try to make everyone equal and you have to take so much from the people that are actually doing things, it makes them not want to do things, which is what they want to do. Again, to kill the spirit of the citizens, to break the country down so that they can bring in their new one. These are the things they have to do, and they are doing it. They are working. My spirit is broken. I fucking hate living in this country, and I can't make enough money to leave this country, and I'm just stuck here, slowly working myself into being a slave while no one wants to fucking do anything about it. Everyone just seems to be okay with it. And I don't get it. I don't understand how everyone is just okay with what's coming and what they're doing to us. Like at a certain point, you have to fight. Like I love the Alberta separatist movement. They want to separate and they're going to vote and they're going to do it. Sure thing. Do you really think Canada is going to let you leave? You're the fucking breadwinner. You're the one that pays everyone's bills. I don't give a fuck if you vote. I'm planning on moving back to Alberta just to be safe because I want them to separate. But if you think that a vote is going to actually do something in this country, you're fucking retarded. They'll never let you leave. You can vote all you want. They'll make up some sort of rule. Or if you do leave, they'll make it so you still have to pay them even more than what the equalization payments are now, so that you're still funding their government. They'll never just let you have a clean break. I don't care how much you think voting will work. It won't. They just won't let that happen. It's going to have to be a fight one day. People need to start wrapping their head around that because try it. By all means, try it. Go do the voting, go through all these steps. I want you to, just so that everyone can see when it's over that I was right and it doesn't mean anything. Well, you won't even get 50% of Albertans. Like you can't fucking move with less than half. You can't fucking separate. That's definitely a problem. But I love the effort. It sucks because I feel like it's going to end up being more of a distraction, as if we were just to revolt right now and get it done and over with. Like it's just going to delay it until they just implement their program fully. Because they just need to get to 2030. For some reason, 2030 is their magic fucking year. That's when they control everything, I guess. I don't know. I thought they already controlled everything. Now, this is where you get into the sticky things because free healthcare, like Canada has, that's always been Canada. We've had a democracy, but our democracy has been bastardized towards a communist version for a long time because of these social programs. And I beg to argue that our medical system is absolute dog water right now. I just broke my thumb and I had to go get a cast, and main floor, walking through the building to go get x-rays and all that shit. And there are people just lined up in the hallways. And I was like, they were waiting for tests. They must be waiting to have other tests, right? Nope. We just don't have room. People are fucking just stashed in the hallways. And now, like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like the whole hallway was lined with people eating their lunches and everything. Like we don't even have the room to take care of the people that we have now. We don't have the doctors to take care of the people that we have now. And people want more people. Make it make sense. So the free healthcare system only works if you're not bringing in mass amounts of other fucking people to flood the country to make it so the system doesn't work. Unless, again, you want to break the system, break the people's spirit in the system. We have people dying in waiting rooms. We have people living in the hallways. It's terrible. Our democracy has a lot of great things. Democracy should be the core of like most government styles. However, at the same time, passionately, firmly, with all my being, everything about me. This is one of the things that needs to happen in whatever new government comes, whether actually, it doesn't matter if the government gets their way and forces it on us, then we just lose. But in my government or in any people's, I highly recommend IQ tests for voters. No more dumb people voting. All right. Dumb people can't participate in society. You can get a job. You can go to the movies. You can make some fucking stupid kids. You can have all that. All right. You don't get a say in voting. If you don't know how to think and how to have forethought about your decisions and the consequences that it will have, then you don't get to have a say in what happens in the country. Okay. That's a big factor. Also, death penalty for corruption. That's a stickler. Death penalty for pedos, death penalty for murder, death penalty for corruption. And even with the death penalty for corruption, that still won't deter people from doing it because people are corrupt. That's what it is in nature. But those two things for sure going forward. So that's what I mean. That was the show. I am Conrad, your host. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again for listening, and make sure to share, like, subscribe, all the things, man. Let's start a revolution.